In this video, we'll show you how to install the Tesla Model Y Juniper calipers. This enhances the look of your Tesla Model Y Juniper as well as give it that performance appearance, just like the Tesla Model Y previous performance version. So this will work for the launch edition, all-wheel drive, and soon to be rear-wheel drive long-range Model Y Juniper. So take a look at it. It is something that is easy to install. All you need to do is remove the wheel cover and the wheel itself, and it takes less than 5 minutes per brake caliper to install. You do need a jack, so make sure you jack up your vehicle at the jack port location. And once you have it jacked up, go ahead and unscrew all the 5 lug nuts. And once you remove them, you will be able to remove the wheel, just like you're changing a tire. So it does require some tools, just as much tools as you would need to change a flat tire. You can do this by yourself using a jack and a socket and a wrench, and that's all the tools you need. Once you remove the tire and the wheel, set it aside. Grab the caliper cover. These comes with the pre-installed clamps. This will clamps onto your brake caliper. So the larger caliper sits in the front. So these are the front wheels. Line them up with your brake calipers and tighten up the screw with the provided tool. There's 2 screws to tighten up. Make sure you go back and forth, tighten the top and the bottom, and make sure it does not rub onto the actual brake caliper itself or the rotor. Place the decal on top of the caliper cover, remove the decal tape, and installation is complete for this wheel brake caliper. And that is how it looks. Absolutely amazing. Now let's go ahead and place the wheel back on. Line up the wheel with the actual lug nut screws. Once you have it on, using your hands to tighten it up with the lug nuts that you removed earlier. Again, start with your hands. And you want to work your way around the wheel, crisscross every other lug nuts. And once you have all the lug nuts on, you can lower the vehicle and fully tighten and torque it to specification. Highly recommend getting a torque wrench. And once you have the vehicle fully lowered, fully tighten again that lug nuts. Now let's go ahead and show you how to install the rear caliper. Move the jack to the rear portion of the vehicle and lining up with the jack port. Loosen the lug nuts first and then fully remove it once you have the vehicle raised up. Same process as before. Once you have all the lug nuts removed, you can remove the wheel and tire. Place the wheel and tire to the side and you have access to the rear caliper. Again, the rear caliper is much smaller and there's different brackets for the rear. So the screws and the clamps here are provided. Pre-install these clamps onto the brake caliper cover. As you can see here, tighten these screws up with the provided tool. Now you're able to line this up with the rear caliper. And make sure it lines up with the rear caliper. Once it's fully aligned, tighten the top screw on top with the bracket behind it to clamp it down. This process takes a little bit more effort than the front brake caliper cover, but once you have it lined up with the bracket, go ahead and tighten the screws. Again, You want to use the tool that is provided with the kit so you don't over tighten it and strip the actual bolt itself. Hand tighten it until you receive some resistance. Same thing for the bottom clamps. And making sure the brake caliper cover does not rub onto the brake pad itself or the rotor. So again, there's 2 bolts on the bottom, 2 on the top. Make sure it's on there securely. And that is how you install the brake caliper for the front wheels and the rear wheels. Place the tire back on, line them up with the bolts and the wheel. Once you have fully aligned, go ahead and hand tighten it with the lug nuts. And once you have it all tightened with the lug nuts, you can load the vehicle after you torque it to specification, and then re-torque it once you load the vehicle down to specification. And this ensures the wheel is fully tightened in place and will not come off on you. Very critical to make sure that this is fully tightened before you get back on the road. So the torque screw and wrench is what you want to use to ensure you apply enough force to tighten these bolts down. Best way to fully check is once you load the vehicle, go ahead and torque it again to specification. If you're interested in this product,